June 6, 1944. 00:15 hours. Strongpoint WN 62, Omaha Beach. Gefreiter Heinrich Severloh carefully cleaned the barrel of his MG-42 in the concrete bunker overlooking the channel. In his pocket was a letter from his girlfriend in Metzingen promising to wait for him until the war's victorious end. "The invasion will be their grave," he had written to her just 3 days earlier. "We will throw them back into the sea within hours." He wrote those words after Field Marshal Rommel himself had inspected their positions. The Desert Fox had looked through Severloh's gun aperture and nodded with satisfaction. "When they come," Rommel had said, "this beach will be their cemetery." Through the embrasure, Severloh saw only peaceful darkness. The night was calm. In 12 hours, this same young man would be found weeping uncontrollably, surrounded by 13,500 empty shell casings, his gun barrel warped from heat, his mind refusing to process the force he had witnessed. While Severloh later claimed to have inflicted over 1,000 casualties, historians note total American losses at Omaha were around 2,400. The mathematics of German defeat were about to be written, not in reports, but in the shocked testimonies of soldiers on the wrong side of the gun sight. The Atlantic Wall. The Atlantic Wall stretched 2,400 miles, from Norway to Spain. German propaganda called it the most formidable line in history. Along the Normandy coast, 58 divisions manned positions built from 17 million cubic meters of concrete and 1.2 million tons of steel. Hitler declared it impregnable. At Omaha Beach, the Germans had constructed 8 concrete bunkers, 35 pillboxes, and 85 machine gun nests. The beach was a killing field. 3,700 obstacles were planted in the tidal zone, many topped with mines. Behind them lay 6.5 million more. Colonel Ernst Goth calculated that his batteries could deliver 120 rounds per minute into the landing sectors. These calculations assumed unlimited ammunition, an assumption that would prove fatal. The meteorological error. By June 5th, weather in Paris was declared impossible for invasion. Winds reached 25 knots. Waves climbed to 6 feet. Meteorologist Walter Stube assured High Command that conditions would remain poor for 2 weeks. Based on this, many officers left their posts. Rommel departed for Germany to celebrate his wife's birthday, carrying a pair of gray suede shoes bought in Paris. General Dahlmann ordered commanders to attend war games at Rennes. Naval patrols were canceled. This confidence was the first miscalculation. The Allies, using weather stations in Greenland, detected a brief 36-hour window. Eisenhower seized it. Chaos in the night. At 23:15 hours on June 5th, radar stations detected massive aerial formations. Operators dismissed them as Allied deception raids. But by 00:30, reports flooded in. Fallschirmjäger, paratroopers, were landing across Normandy. Confusion reigned. Dummy paratroopers with firecrackers, part of Operations Titanic and Rupert, multiplied the panic. Major Hans von Luke, commanding the 125th Panzer Grenadier Regiment, grasped the gravity and requested permission to attack. The response: "Do not move until the situation clarifies." Von Luck later wrote, I knew at that moment we were lost. We sat paralyzed by our own command structure. The Armada appears. June 6th, 0530 hours. As gray light illuminated the channel, German observers saw something their training had never prepared them for. From horizon to horizon, the sea was covered with vessels, not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands. The fleet consisted of 6,939 vessels, the largest armada in history. To defenders raised on propaganda of Allied weakness, the sight was devastating. Officer Bernhard Frerking told his men they were witnessing the whole world arriving on their doorstep. The storm of steel. At 5:35, the naval bombardment began. Nothing, not the Eastern Front nor the heaviest air raids, prepared them for this. The USS Texas fired 255 14-inch shells in 34 minutes. HMS Warspite delivered hundreds of 15-inch shells. Concrete bunkers cracked, men were buried alive, dug out, and buried again. The fortifications they trusted crumbled like sandcastles. The Luftwaffe's response revealed the truth. Oberst Pips Priller was ordered to attack with his entire force. He responded, "What entire force? I have 2 planes." The Luftwaffe managed only 319 sorties against 14,674 Allied sorties. Priller and his wingman made the only Luftwaffe attack on the beaches that morning, a futile gesture from the once mighty Knights of the Air. Bloody Omaha. At 6:30, the first waves hit. Heinrich Severloh at WN-62 began firing at 6:35. His position commanded perfect fields of fire. He would fire 13,500 rounds over 9 hours, contributing to the carnage of Bloody Omaha. But defenders soon hit material shock, a breakdown caused by overwhelming force. No matter how many Americans fell, more appeared. Every destroyed craft was replaced by 3 more. By midday, ammunition ran out. Positions calculated for a 3-day battle were empty in hours. The paralyzed reserve. The armor reserve Rommel needed remained paralyzed. The 21st Panzer Division didn't attack until 1620. They reached the shore at 1900, the only armored unit to do so. But seeing Operation Mallard, 250 Allied gliders landing behind them, they withdrew in fear of being flanked. German units faced massive airborne forces operating behind their lines. The chaos multiplied the Allied strength. Oberst von der Heydte recorded, "The Allied airborne operation was everything ours had never been. We dropped battalions, they dropped divisions. By darkness, command had disintegrated." General Richter reported, "Combat strength 35%, all coastal strongpoints lost, artillery 90% destroyed." In one day, the Germans suffered losses of a major battle, while the Allies landed fresh troops as if the day was merely a beginning. Logistics of attrition. As reinforcements tried to reach Normandy, they faced complete interdiction. The 2nd SS Panzer Division took 17 days to travel from Toulouse, a journey that should have taken 3. They arrived having lost 30% of their vehicles to air attack without firing a shot. Conversely, Allied logistics were flawless. Within days, they were landing 15,000 tons of supplies daily, more than the entire German army in Normandy consumed in a week. Tactical victories, like Michael Wittmann at Villers-Bocage, couldn't change the outcome. Wittmann's Tiger was hard to replace. British losses were replaced in hours. Tactical brilliance could not overcome industrial mathematics. The final collapse. The fall of Cherbourg and Operation Cobra delivered the final blow. 1,500 heavy bombers dropped 4,100 tons of bombs on a tiny sector. General Fritz Bayerlein reported, "My division is annihilated. They are no longer soldiers, but broken men." The Falaise Pocket in August became the graveyard. 10,000 Germans died. 50,000 were captured. Roads were carpeted with dead horses and burning vehicles. Final losses: 320,000 German casualties and 2,300 tanks. Virtually all armor in France was gone. The conclusion, narrated with deep gravity. As the smoke cleared, German officers provided the most objective assessments. General Eberbach reported, "The enemy's material superiority is 20-1 in artillery, 10-1 in tanks, and absolute in aircraft. He can replace all losses. We cannot." General Speidel wrote, "Normandy proved that courage alone could not overcome industrial supremacy. We faced an enemy who had mechanized victory itself." Rommel's final report to Hitler was his most powerful testament. "The unequal struggle is nearing its end. I must beg you to draw the necessary conclusions." It was the language of complete defeat. Normandy revealed that World War II had become a production war. German soldiers witnessed an industrial capacity that defied comprehension. They learned that modern war was won in factories, not by the bravest warriors, but by the most productive societies. They discovered the Allies had turned warfare into a mathematical equation where production statistics mattered more than tactical genius. Heinrich Severloh began June 6th believing the invasion would be thrown back. He ended it haunted, watching endless waves of reinforcements land on the beach he was supposed to control. His 13,500 rounds meant nothing against the unlimited assembly lines of Detroit. The beaches of Normandy were a revelation. The defenders brought courage and training. The Allies brought the future. As the sun set on the ruins of the Atlantic Wall, the German soldier realized he wasn't just fighting an army. He was fighting a machine he could never stop. The war of heroes was over. The war of industry had won.